I'm going to get some Crocs.
Yes, I like that.
Because they're like 50% off.
My missus got me these for after my runs because I obviously have tired feet, but they're actually really comfortable.
They look kind of better.
They're
than
like
Crocs.
No, they come wrong answer.
They come from
where are they from?
China,
of course.
but they're obviously
China.
like 3D printed or something. What size feet are you?
9.
Try that. They are comfortable.
Oh, someone just bedummed.
And
Oh my word!
They are quite comfortable.
See you, Chris. Get some new shoes, mate.
No, but if you get Crocs, you've not seen the there's some guy who modifies your Crocs, and he's put he's put Heelys on them. Pin my Crocs. He's put Heelys on the bottom of his Crocs. He just skirts around.
That sounds so dangerous.
I never got Heelys. I was just oh my lord.
What?
Are those all tabs?
Yeah, that's how I work. I'm a tab master.
Why don't you get
that? Is Chris's brain in tab form?
Why don't you get the folder thing where you can organise your tabs into subsections and then it sub-tabs them?
What?
There's an application on for browsers
Chrome
that you can literally just basically fold them into tabs. So you click this and all the tabs of this thing comes up.
I mean, that's too organised for how my brain operates.
Oh no, I need the organisation, otherwise I'll cry. I feel like how do I stiffen this up?
I need to get some sort of a screwdriver would probably do it for that particular. Hang on, let me have a look.
That's right, I'm alright. Oh, here comes ADHD.
Are you sure you're right?
I'm ready, I'm good.
It's going to bother him for the whole episode.
Yeah, well,
Tony
you know what? Let you suffer. See, I told you this.
That's
right, I don't get bothered by him.
That's not true. That's false.
When's the gym opening?
Why?
Did you sign the things?
Yeah, we signed the things. Everything's moving. I had a meeting with Max and Subs.
Oh, that's good.
For marketing on Saturday.
Well, that's very good. I'm about to terrorise Subs in America.
What does that mean?
He's come to America with me. Because he was going to compete at Worlds, and I said to him, I was like, look, I'm going for Worlds anyway.
Who's coming?
Subs from East Park.
Who's Subs?
You probably don't know. One of the powerlifters. You probably hate him.
He was probably in there today.
Probably, yeah. But
Chris just has like they can get the in that Black Mirror episode where the kids they come. I don't know if you've seen it.
I don't watch Black Mirror.
Okay, you should watch Black Mirror.
No, I tried to
there's a Black Mirror episode where they've invented this like thing that they basically put into kids' brains where it like. It's a trauma thing, so it phases out any like anything violent, any trauma stuff, and it sounds like a really good idea. But actually, what happens is the granddaughter sees her like grandma having a heart attack, and because she didn't understand what's going on, because when it went to her POV, it was just a blob on the floor, like
no trauma,
and because it's a traumatic event. So I can imagine Chris walking into East Park and it just like the powerlifter is just this blob that he just walks past and he's just like, I don't even know what they're doing. I don't care for it.
The trauma.
No, I used to recognize myself as a powerlifter, so because I was doing it for
I'd never seen you bench press in my life, have I? Maybe I have.
Look at the size of his arms. He definitely has done a bench press.
I went through a phase of doing it, like I did that stuff with down at Super Training and had stuff with Henry and what's all that stuff.
Super Training is such a weird gym.
Yeah, but
you mean the UK one or the American one?
The American one, fair enough. The
UK one looks like it's a pure gym, the wooden wall.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I remember when they put it together. We went down there and shot some content.
Yeah, my friend's on the wall of Super Training.
Who's that?
Is it in a picture or just on the wall?
Jimbo Cooper.
Jimbo, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I rate him a lot. Actually.
Jimbo was just like totally obsessed with Mark, though. I
mean, I think he's just. I don't blame him.
What's Jimbo doing these days? Because he was clearly like a mixed up dude.
No, I talk to him every day. Yeah, I'm actually going to go meet up with him and train with him after I get back from America.
Oh, cool.
He's going back into powerlifting. I think he had his fair share of shit in his life to go on. And
he seemed like he was kind of torn between whether he wanted to be a bodybuilder or a powerlifter.
I mean, he do bits in both. He's got. If you see his physique, it's incredible.
Yeah. Well, he's clearly open about his like what he's taken to get to that point, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, he's also just a genetic freak as well.
Yes, yeah,
and he works hard. He works very hard. Because because obviously he had just loads of life stuff happen to him, which is just really unfortunate. But I think he's kind of getting back on track with everything. He's back in the gym now, training properly. He's benching over 200 kilos again.
No, he said that so casually as if.
He had the biggest bench in the UK, 252.5 or something.
That's mega.
He squatted 370. Bench 252.5, and I want to say deadlift like 330 maybe. Bear in mind, I had like 24 years old, at my body weight.
I remember talking.
He's just a genetic mutant.
Talking to Mark Bell's wife, and she was like, "Mark keeps saying about this Jimbo guy and how Jim wants to come to Sacramento and like."
That's why he benched 252.
Yeah, and Mark's, and she was saying, "Oh, Mark's like, yeah, but he's so strong. We got to look after the guy." And she was like, "Mark, you just want to help everybody. You need to calm down." Like a nice guy. He is a nice guy. Like, got on super nice with him.
Yeah, no, Jimbo Anthony, his name is. He's getting back into powerlifting. He's actually just been invited to a massive powerlifting event next year in Florida. It's called like Ghost Clash or something.
Oh, the brand Ghost.
Well, I don't think it's with that one, but it's got like John Hackett's one of the biggest names. It's an invite-only event.
There's the Ghost, the supplement, and also
not the modern like fancy supplement thing. This is like a powerlifter.
But no, they also make. There's also a Ghost brand which got bought out by Rogue, and they did powerlifting stuff.
Yeah, that might be. Do they have the cursed pre-workout or something?
I don't know. There's the supplement company, and then the equipment company, and they're different companies.
It'll be probably that then. But he's just been invited to that event, which is huge for him. So now he's trying to get back his total back over 900 kilos before April.
Bloody hell!
Which he probably will do, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's some people are just genetic freaks.
Yeah.
We'll talk about one of the subjects on the podcast today is actually kind of that related to that, because I wanted to talk about squats and deadlifts and stuff.
When do we start the podcast?
Well, we're doing our little kind of catch-up first. We're recording now.
Shout out Jimbo Cooper. You've got a shout out, even though he's got like 170,000 followers.
He's a tremendous dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I've got a lot of time for him.
And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I can't remember what I was saying. Yeah, I mean, this is the podcast.
Hello.
We just haven't done the formal.
We do this every time.
Yeah, but I always forget.
Is everyone all right? Good.
Yeah, my back hurts. Getting old.
Why does your back hurt?
I pinged it again, didn't I? Remember I told you I slept with a cat funny? Don't ask.
What?
You know when your cat's like sleeping in your bed? I'm not going to
context, please.
Nah, you know when your cat like, okay, I'm sleeping. Then one of the kittens is like,
Diego does this.
Yeah, and obviously I'm not going to
No.
disrupt it.
They need to have the priority.
Yeah, 100%. Well, anyway, I did that. Guess what? Didn't get priority. My back health. And then I've got adular tear in my disc, which sounds really bad.
Sounds like a metal band. Adular tear.
But it sounds really bad, and it hurts a lot, but it's basically like a paper cut.
They just got to let it heal.
Yeah, it's just like a tiny little thing, which is no damage, but it just really hurts. So I've got savage sciatica now. So basically, my leg training...
Savage sciatica, is that another band?
That's another band. That's
Adular Tears. For them.
That's like Adular Tears' first album, Savage Sciatica.
That's good.
Hardcore herniation for the first song.
I've written a really good song in the last 48 hours.
So when we were here last time, when me and Chris were here, when you were late again, we listened to some of Chris's stuff, and it's really good.
I've heard it before. It's good.
No, but
you
like
showed me
the
before,
new
not
stuff,
your old stuff, the Glory Days. You showed me
Glory Days.
Oh, my old band that I was in.
Yeah.
No, I've been writing a lot of new stuff, and I'm trying to get that finished off to go perform and stuff again, because I do.
Oh, can we come see? Can we come watch?
Yeah, you can do once I'm over the stress of it. Yeah,
no, I've got a podcast at the gig.
I've got a better idea.
Chris, question.
You know WWE with all the signs?
Yeah.
I'm going to do like Chris impregnated my wife or something like that.
I love Chris.
Chris fertilised my cat.
Chris is my mum.
Cool. That's fine.
Chris fertilised my cat, so we're going to pass over that one.
But yeah, from the album.
I like getting back into writing music again has been really good, but bad at the same time, because I get very dialed in and hyper focused on the music writing to the point where everything else seems to take a bit of a back seat.
Yeah.
And you'll notice this is my office, this is where I work, and I've got all my music instruments around me. So therefore, what would I rather be doing during the working day? Maybe working on that new idea that I've come up with, or doing.
Chris, if you're watching, this is a joke. He doesn't mean any of what he's saying.
No, it's true. No, but I'm perfectly good at getting my work done if there's an appointment booked in and everything. But if I've got like a long list of things I need to do, and I could maybe spend half an hour just tinkering away on some music instead, I'm probably going to do the music.
That's fair enough.
That's just life, isn't it?
What?
I mean, RuneScape.
Still?
No, I haven't played for a long time, so I'm playing Diablo 4. But I'll kind of bang that out. And
why don't you just do like more video game content then?
I don't know, because I kind of just like playing games for me.
No, but like your content is about like influencers,
gym and stuff. I kind of wanted to make a video game channel, but I also don't actually play that much. A little bit.
I think the minute you start making content out of something you enjoy doing, you begin to enjoy it less.
Yeah,
because it becomes 100%. Work. Like when I got into food blogging with my missus, and we go to all the restaurants and stuff. When it first started, it was super exciting because we were getting invited to all these amazing places to eat for free and just take photos and post about it, which was great. But then it built up to a point where it was like every Saturday without fail, we go to London, we go to like 3 or 4 different restaurants to eat and generate content. and it just became laborious. And don't get me wrong, I love a free meal as much as the next person, but
not 4 times a day every weekend.
Yeah, and it's not free anymore because you are actually having to work for it, and kind of, you know, you get good at it and you become professional at it, and then you end up eating cold food, and that's that. But I can't really complain too much because that spiraled into me working in marketing as I do now. So therefore, it opened doors for me. So one thing I can say is that if there is something you're passionate about and you're good at doing content about it, then you can evolve it into something like, well, look at you in TFNL. Something you're passionate about that you were very good at putting out there, you've turned into a potential tangible way to make a career for yourself.
Hopefully.
Well, that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
But because it's a passion, you're not annoyed about the fact that it's taking its time, because ultimately you enjoy what you do anyway. So it doesn't matter.
But you do have to change your relationship with it.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is, like, obviously, I loved like the content side of things, but I think realistically, my ideal, my dream in the next couple of years is to be able to build the brand to a sustainable level with like the coaching and everything. So with not just me, but whoever else is involved. So I can actually step away from, so it doesn't need YouTube anymore, but I can use YouTube because I want it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know how like Josh Bridgman, his content is just bodybuilding content. I'd like to be able to shift my YouTube content at some point in the next 2 or 3 years to the content actual me content, me training, bodybuilding, going to different gyms,
vlog,
like even hanging out with friends, like more, like I said, more of a vlog,
like Bumstead's done.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
But because the brand and the coaching side of things and the programs, all that stuff, are sustainable enough without YouTube. Obviously, I'll still get some marketing, but I can essentially just create all the content I want rather than the content the algorithm wants.
I'm doing the same with the gym, to be honest. Like, I was coaching for ages, and I got to the point where I was like, I just want to open my own business so I can grow that and then step out of it, work on it rather than in it.
That's what I like, because I like
just document my life. Not that I think I'm very interesting.
No, but you're doing something people aren't.
Well, people have already started asking, like, how do I get money to open a gym? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess there's a market out there. What I will say is, if you like working out with your friends and you think opening a gym's just an extension of that,
it's not.
No.
Thing is, I like the business side of things quite a lot. I like I said, working on things. I find that really exciting.
I've opened quite a few gyms now, and I'm already learning so much more on this one.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, because it's actually yours now. And,
and
now you actually have that free reign to learn things.
But also, as we've spoken about in the past, gyms have evolved as well. Yeah. So what you used to do in the past is not what you do now.
Very true.
Gyms are weird now. Good weird. I like it.
I think the consumers just got so much smarter. The expectations so much higher. You can't just open a room full of equipment anymore like that. You could do that 10 years ago. You can't. Like, CrossFit came in, was like, here's some rigs and some dirty old plates. Everyone was like, brilliant, £100 a month, sure.
Yeah, CrossFit gyms are mad money.
And now people are like, no, because I spend 10 hours a week here, 4 of them training, 2 of them socializing, some of them eating. Like, it needs to be barbell lounge.
Well, no, I fully actually back that, especially with like the content side of things. So many people will create content out of your gym. It makes sense to almost align it so you can create content there, make it actually look a certain way.
100%.
And you can have a gym, like, for example, my gym in Slough is a prime example. Equipment's amazing, atmosphere's amazing, people are incredible. It's just really crap for making content because it's not a good looking content gym. It's not Instagrammable.
No.
Whereas like East Park was a bit more Instagrammable, and Barbell Lounge will be as well, because that's again a modern gym that realizes actually my marketing is going to be done by everyone else, not by me.
But you need to have that vision from the beginning. Because if you try and implement that after you've already opened, it's so much harder.
Absolutely.
To put that in, because you have to change lighting, you have to change things, you have to think about angles and space, and then people still need to be able to use the gym because that's why they're there, and you don't want to upset people that are just like headphones on.
Did you just point at me?
Yeah, because I remember we had this chat.
I hate tripods.
Look, no, I'm not hating.
Yes, we are.
Okay, maybe. No, we're not. You guys are like on the same coin on different sides. Like, you need the content, and you also appreciate content, but you're also there to train.
I mean, I'm still very much on the fence about content in gyms and stuff, because equally I've done my fair share of filming of content. I used to do it constantly with Ryan all the time for his output, and with my other half and so on. But I'm still on the fence about kind of like it being, because it's so common now. Like, I feel like gyms have kind of lost that kind of, I don't know, just turning up to get something done vibe.
Get the work done.
I don't know. It just feels like
I know what you mean.
They've lost their. A lot of them have lost their edge now. Like, when I would turn up and train and no one cared about. No one really looked at their phones or anything. It would just, we'd go in there and we'd go, for a nice way of saying it, we'd just go fuck each other up and walk out of there feeling like we've achieved something. But there's just this kind of strange, we're in this kind of limbo where, like, with the kind of whole tripod generation coming through, and I appreciate that everyone wants to make a name for themselves, and in some cases it's people's careers, and I get that. But I'm still like, for the other day I was just thinking to myself, I'd love to just like open an adult gym that just was
you know what, I've been to a gym though where they're like, you cannot film in there.
Yeah,
I've been to a few gyms like that.
You almost need like a gym which is very Advantage. A gym which
I've been there before. They
don't like you filming in there.
They're quite funny about that.
That's like a really aesthetically colourful gym.
I was in there and I overheard a member of staff, and if anyone listens to this that goes there, they might better confirm it, but I heard someone say, yeah, you can't film in here. And I was a bit like, I've just started filming my sets for my coach. I was like, pack the tripod away.
I always used to film in there.
I'm totally cool with just like getting the phone out and stuff. It's just when it becomes a little bit more of a production and it kind of puts everyone on edge a little bit.
And I think content creators, yes, but with anything, when you have the elite and it trickles down into the normies like us, it's that everyone now has a fitness account. You have your normal Instagram account, and then you have Train with Steve, or so-and-so trains, or so-and-so gyms, and it's great because it's like, document your journey. That's, we talked about before about having a goal and a journey, but I think because everyone documents it now and that's been normalized so much, you now have the content creators creating content, and then the people that are just doing it for themselves, and then the people to make them seem interesting are small.
It's hard. Like, I was training the other day and I had literally 3 tripods around me with 3 different people, and I'm just like, I can't switch off from that. It's there. And it's and I'm still training and everything, but it's kind of in my mind. I don't know. It affects me a little bit.
There's a few gyms that I follow in the States that I use kind of inspiration for Barbell Lounge, and their fitness industry, as you guys know, like, they're a little bit ahead of us.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I've definitely seen more of those accounts posting no tripods, or tripods between these certain times only.
But equally, American gyms are so much bigger.
Yeah,
so
and they have the problem. So imagine us.
But people can find a bit of space to do their thing there. I feel like our gyms, because we're so much smaller,
it's hard to get a big gym in this country.
Yeah, I've
realised this now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I bet you kind of realised
I was showing one of the investors today, I was like, look at this massive gym in Canada, and he was like, yeah, it's really cool. And I was like, I'd love to do Barbell Lounge this big one day, like a Toys R Us style, like, size,
big warehouse size.
And he was like, it's just so hard to find the space, and then all the costs that come with it, and then everything.
It's the cost, isn't it?
Yeah,
everything's expensive over here. Like, obviously, Slough, they've got their unit of like 15 or 20,000 square foot or something, but it's taken them years to find. How the cost? Don't know how they're doing that.
I mean, it's all done square foot, but yeah, anything over like £15 a square foot, like, it starts getting expensive.
Well, it's even when I was at
that's a month.
It was when I was at a previous gym that I shan't name. The owner told me about how much his rent cost for how small the place was, and I was like, Jesus, that's mad.
Do you know when most gyms in London are in the basement?
Yeah, I'm not
so cheap. You try and get anything at ground level, good luck breaking even.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care if it's where it is, as long as it's good and it's got everything.
I don't know, man. I like windows, but
I do quite like. I feel a bit claustrophobic otherwise.
I've only got windows at the front.
To be fair, I know what you mean. Now I think about it. I've been to gyms where I've gone to the basement area and there's no windows.
Buzz Gym in Reading.
Yes, I've never been in there.
Oh, we've been for a bit claustrophobic because it's literally downstairs.
Gym box in London, you go to. I think the one in Elephant and Castle is the only one that might be above ground level.
Up Mayfair.
There's one. Is that the one that's in like the mall or something? There's one.
There's one in Stratford.
That's the one. I've been to that one.
There's a gym. There's one of those gyms in the Westfield in White City as well.
Can we talk about gym day pass costs at the moment? Oh my lord! Obviously, I'm going to America in a week. Yeah. I was like, let's look at all the gyms we're going to visit. You want to go Zoo Culture? Guess how much a day pass is?
American
$60.
Yeah, well, I remember paying $40 for Venice Beach Gold's Gym.
When I went there, it was $20 or $25, and they said, if you want a membership, you pay. If you live in LA, it's $50 a month, but you have to prove you live here. If you can't prove you live here, it's $150 a week.
So
that's because I don't want people traveling.
So we trained twice in one day because we got to LA and woken up at like 5 a.m, and it opens at 4 a.m. So we were like, fuck it, we'll go and train.
Especially when it's hot as well.
Yeah, so we'll go. We're awake anyway, so we're going to train. And they were like, "Yeah, it's $40 for a day pass." We're like, "Wow!" They were like, "But it's fine. You can, if you want, you can come back later." So we're like, so we did one workout in the morning and then legs in the evening because it's like
the 8-hour arm workout.
Alpha Land is like $40 a day as well.
Yeah. But then we went to the Gold's Gym in Santa Barbara, and the guy the manager there was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they charged you. Like, you're on a holiday. They should be treating you nicely. You can train in here for free."
Oh,
so
I love that.
So what the fuck? The guy Gold's Gym Santa Barbara.
Franchise.
It's like,
franchise owners.
Fuck it. Give it. I've still got the pass, I think, somewhere. It was around here.
You know what? It is because, and we have this at one of the projects I'm working on, is actually because we don't want to encourage people just to drop in for the day. We want people to join.
Yeah,
because
it's
a members-only club. That's the way it's...
Zoo Culture, for example, is 60 because all the TikTokers train there. So you get to see your influencers, and you probably want to be a bit more exclusive, so you're not getting bombarded by 16-year-old kids who want to see you.
And then also the culture of the club changes when you have lots of transient people in it, because they come in and they're just, I don't care, I'm here for a day, fuck it, like I'll move my weights out. And then the people like us would be like, oh my god, I wish it was only people that lived here.
I do get that. It's just mad how much.
But then the whole gym tourism thing, obviously everyone trains now. You'll jump in a car, let's go up to
I'm seeing a lot of gym tourism accounts now, like people just touring, like
TikTok things.
Is it that fucking interesting?
I'm not gonna lie,
it's the people that love training. Like,
I love training.
But don't get me wrong. I used to go to different gyms and stuff, but to open an account specifically for, I mean, I suppose people open accounts to review restaurants. Why wouldn't you review gyms?
I don't think people care about me enough to follow me twice. So I don't. I should turn off.
If anyone is
even the cast account isn't even mine.
If anyone is doing one of those gym tourism accounts, come to Barbell Lounge when it opens.
It's going to be great.
If you give it a bad review, you're going to get pissed on.
Yeah, Harry's promise or threat?
It's both.
Are you waiting by the door as they leave? Or
100%.
Yeah, bouncer
stood from the gantry.
Shades and an earpiece.
I'll manipulate them into it. I'll say, "Oh, what do you think of the gym?" They're like, "Oh, what do you mean?" I was like, "A few flaws on there. What do you think?" And they're like, "It was really good." I'm like, yeah, good answer. Or they're like, "Oh, I didn't like this." I'm like, "Oh, what's your dress?"
Yeah, just checking.
On you.
You're a strange man.
Yeah, I'm actually.
Well, before we officially start the episode, I did want to say that I've noticed in gyms that it's probably a sign of my age, but
I didn't say it this time.
It's fine. No one's wearing vests. Guys don't wear vests anymore in the gym.
I'm too insecure. I do it once in a blue moon on Saturday, but I'm way too insecure.
Even guys in, like, back when I started training, everyone was wearing vests and stuff.
Well, back at the Pulse 8 days, I'd walk in a stringer in the middle of winter and be like, "Look at my nipples." Now I'm 40 kilos heavier. I'm like, "Nah, I can't do that."
I'm starting to like. I've always been a vest person.
If you're fashionable vest.
Yeah, but I'm starting to feel self-conscious of the fact that I'm the only guy in the gym now wearing a vest. Everyone else is in a t-shirt, no matter how good a shape they're in. Why is that?
Subs walks in the vest, no pump cover, just straight in with the vest, menacing.
That's brave.
Especially for a natural dude, that's inappropriate. Only the enhanced do that, I see.
What?
I know, but you're just a bit
Imagine
wild.
that, exclusive.
Yeah, exclusive.
So,
I've been juicing the whole fucking time.
It's like that Joe Setics guy when he walked in to a gym and was like topless at me. He's like, how do you walk in just topless, no pump? He goes, "I'm on gear." I was like, yeah, that's a good answer. Oh, we have fun. It's true though.
We were going to talk about, we might as well do this in the preamble, the chap that died.
Oh, the squat one. Oh, this is an interesting one.
Is it? It's kind of like appalling.
So how did you hear about it?
I saw it pop up on TikTok, I think.
Oh, okay.
So
maybe,
just for
Facebook, Lad Bible or some shit.
Just for context, it's not the nicest of stories, but somebody died doing a max squat the other day.
210 kilos or something.
I haven't seen the actual video.
Oh, I saw the video.
I don't really want to search it out.
No. Okay, do you want me to just explain?
Could you give us
it's not graphic at all. I've done what he did.
Oh, I think he fell forward.
Can I speculate? Does the bar roll?
Yeah, so he just rolled forward onto the back of the head. I've literally done that.
Broke his neck.
Yeah,
it snapped his spine.
It was something like that, and so as he squatted down, came up. I've literally done this exact thing at Pulse 8. I let go of the bar, roll forward on the back of my head. But he came up, bar roll forward of his head, did something to him, and then he just, obviously, bar fell off, he fell back, and then that was it, I think.
Dude.
But the fallout from it is like, I'm seeing people blaming the spotter.
Nah, piss off.
Yeah, but this is it. But this is what I'm saying.
What are you supposed to... How heavy was it?
You can't put that on another man.
He wasn't squatting in a rack. You didn't have safety bars.
Yeah, you can't put that on someone else saying, by the way, that person died because of you.
How much was on the bar?
210.
So you're expecting a spotter to catch that and break both his shoulders?
Well, you got to think about this. Bridge Road Phil actually gave me a really good point about this. He said you got to think realistic. Like, we're strong dudes, yeah.
Yeah.
But realistically, if someone's squatting 140 kilos, I'm a strong dude.
I can't catch that.
I can't curl that. My bicep will tear. I think it's really irresponsible to squat heavy, and heavy's obviously respected, but even like 100 kilos without 3 spotters, 2 sides and 1 behind, just in case.
Even if it's only 2.5 kilos above what you can normally do, there's nothing to say that something doesn't go wrong, like in your body.
I failed on weights that are like 70% of 1 round max, just because, like, for example, benching, I've nearly dropped the bar because it just went down, suddenly my wrist twitched.
Yeah, or just something didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And at those margins, that's all it takes.
Yeah.
And actually, like, going to your point, when you're 2.5 kilos over your max, the drop off in strength at top end is considerable.
It's like you almost want to give people a challenge of spot someone squatting 60 kilos, just play to either side and let them just drop it and catch 60 kilos and see how that feels for you. Probably really bad.
So if you're on the side spot, it's like, what do you do? Catch it and break your wrists?
That side spot's horrendous as well, because like, it's still so many variables.
That's why
just use a rack.
No, but when you go heavy, it's just a safety thing, just in case to stop you rolling forward getting 3 spotters. Like, if you're going to get a spotter on squats, I always get 3.
And the person squatting shouldn't then relax when you're meant. Basically, the spotters are meant to help you take a lot of the load off, so you can guide it back into the rack.
You don't, as a squatter, you don't drop it. You help them up.
But I've seen that. Yeah, and you're just like you should kind of point out very abruptly, don't do that. You still have to keep trying when you squat.
If I ever bench heavy, last time I did 4 plates at East Park. It was a breeze. Do it for like 5. I still got 3 spotters. I got behind and 2 sides, just in case.
Do you know what though? Whenever I've got a spotter, I actually feel more confident simply because they're there.
100%.
So therefore, the more spotters you have, the more confident you're going to feel.
So let's get 20 of them.
20 spotters.
Yeah. In fact, don't even bother squatting. Just let them lift it up and down for you.
I think obviously what happened to this guy is extremely unfortunate and very sad.
Very rare.
Very rare. Yeah. But unfortunately, it is a freak accident, and I don't think it's wise. I don't think it's actually very fair to blame the spotter. I think ultimately, we don't know whether he asked for a spot or the guy offered, whatever it may be, but he didn't know any better. It is essentially the man who was conducting the lift. It's kind of his responsibility to put all safety measures in place, and it is just very unfortunate this happened. I don't think anyone's to blame. It's just a freak accident.
It's horrendous, but imagine being the person who now has to live with that.
Yeah, but that's why I don't think it's fair to blame that person, because I'm sure the spotter was a dude. I'm sure he feels horrendous.
But just the fact that he witnessed it is bad.
Yeah. And you wouldn't know instantly. You just think, oh, he's passed out or something, and then you realise, nope. So I saw it on that Goob guy, the guy. Yeah. So he did a response video to like another response about it, where some guy was like calling him out for like, you shouldn't come after this guy. Basically, long and the short of it is, apparently, and this is allegedly because I haven't looked into this.
Well, yeah, I don't know the story.
Is that the guy, I think, who either owns a gym, I don't know if he was the spot or the guy there. Said about saying this. He's got like a history of like bad lifting like technique in terms of coaching it, and that someone was like, like people lift dangerously in this gym already, and actually said this happening is almost like it's inevitable. But obviously, once you start throwing those accusations, you know, it's difficult, isn't it? I'm not accusing him of that.
I mean, like, again, let's be honest, probably most PTs in the industry teach pretty bad form.
Oh my God. Go to an average gym and watch the personal trainer. Do you
know what annoys I'm not going to say it, there's no point, but
say it.
The gym that I go to, there's no one helping.
Oh yeah.
No one gives an F where I train. No one's watching what anyone's doing or correcting any bad form. No one cares.
Has it always been that way?
No.
But the thing is, I've had issues like that in the past.
There were people that were talking to members before, but ultimately now, I don't know, I see new people come in who clearly need help, maybe need like a little plan writing for them, or just someone to keep an eye on them. No one gives a fuck.
Ghost town.
But is that common of a lot of gyms?
Yeah, no, it actually is. Oh, cool. I used to work at a pure
24-hour gyms, no one's there to care about you.
I think a lot of it comes down to, from the top, the culture, the manager, the staff, depends on who's there. I've never run a gym myself like that, and any time I've seen people just like not helping, I've made a point to say you need to be helping. I think like when I used to work at Pure Gym 10 something years ago, you old.
Yeah, I am old. Jeez, it's my first gym job. It didn't go well. I used to try.
No good stories from that at all.
I guess I've only
Pure gyms have some.
I could tell you some funny things, but I'll tell you something in a second.
Good.
But I used to go and try and like be nice. Obviously, I was 19. I was young. I kind of wanted to help everyone. I was like excited, just qualified, and
you're gonna help the world, aren't you?
I was only there for a month, but every time I tried to help someone, they just basically told me to piss off. They're like, "Yeah, I don't want your help. If I wanted your help, I would have asked." I'm like, okay. That's why people don't help.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of something I think might be why a lot of people don't help anymore, is because people are too afraid to mansplain or...
Well, that's the thing. I think I spoke to you about this when you were at East Park back in the day, where I said that I saw a woman who was lifting like pretty badly, and I really wanted to go help her.
Yeah.
But I was actually scared to help her in case someone thought it was like me being a predator or something.
Yeah. Dude, there's a tripod and a phone there.
Yeah, but literally...
You'll end up on what Jerry Swoll's account.
But when I was at Pure Gym, I remember this. I got in loads of trouble because I had a bottle of water with me. So the manager basically pulled me into the office. She goes, "Harry, look, we need to have a chat. And what's up? She goes, I think it's really inappropriate that you're seen on the gym floor with a bottle of water. It looks really disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. I was like, what do you mean? She goes, if you want a drink, go into the staff room every couple of hours for a quick sip, leave it there. You don't need a bottle of water with you. Blah, blah, blah. I said, what about taking classes? Don't need one, grab one afterwards. So it just doesn't.
No, that's dumb.
I said it's mad that we're in a gym that's promoting health and fitness when encouraging me not to drink water, which is in turn healthy and
which is a habit you'd probably give to a client.
Yeah,
carry a bottle of water with you.
Yeah, she had to go at me, and then we had a big disagreement about it.
I mean, there's so many like terrible people in the work environment that just seem to rule by stupid stuff like that.
Another one. My grandpa was like seriously ill, and I remember I called up saying, look, I'm sorry, I'm going to be late for my shift. My grandpa's really unwell. He's in hospital. I've just leaving the hospital now. I got there. They're like, that can't happen again. If your grandpa, yeah. Well, I was like, yeah,
it might not.
I'll let him know. I'll let him know.
It might not at this rate.
Needless to say, it ended very shortly after. But I remember when I was at Waitrose as well. I called up my manager. This is the best. Oh god, it was a Friday night. I was like, I won't say his name, but I was like, yeah,
he nearly did.
Yeah, he did. He's retired anyway. Doesn't matter. I was like, yeah, I can't come into work unfortunately. My grandma's about to die. She's on her deathbed. Obviously, we could probably got a couple of hours with her. And he just said, could you come in afterwards? I was like, I'm going to
acknowledge the.
Go be honest with you. I was like, yeah, literally.
I'm laughing because it's that bad.
We've just had a delivery.
I was like, go be honest. I was like, yeah, I'm good. Because I was due to work the next day as well. I said, look, I'm probably not going to be in today or tomorrow just because I'm unsure. He goes, well, if she's gone, come in tomorrow. I was like, yeah, no, I probably won't actually. And then
there's facing up to do, mate. Come on.
Yeah, I was literally. So I went in on the following Monday. This happened on Friday. I was in Friday, Saturday. Went back in on Monday, and just said nothing about it.
That's ridiculous.
She died on that Friday.
Oh my word! It's like, yeah, sorry, we've already had a lot of holiday cover, so you need to come in.
It's like, God, what? The holiday was the best. I was like, oh, can I book this time off? He was like, no. I was like, I book regatta off next year in 11.5 months. He's like, nah, busy. I'm like, okay, bye.
Is this personal? Oh.
Good stuff.
Apparently he slept with a 15-year-old, so he was sick.
Whoa, hello.
Yeah, apparently that's all.
Did you know that before you tried to book your holiday?
No, I found out when he retired. So he retired and he started working there.
Retired.
So he started working there at 15 years old until 65. So he started technically working there illegally, but then when he retired, everyone was like, yeah, he had a relationship with a 15-year-old and that's why his wife left him. I was like, whether that's true or not, I don't know. I was like, that's a bit.
I remember one of the PE teachers from my secondary school lost his job for basically putting the moves on a girl on a school trip.
Bloody hell.
We had a PE teacher when I went to the all-boys school.
Which all-boys school did you go to?
I can't say it, can I? Because obviously I'm about to call out the PE teacher there. And they
still there?
It's just in case.
No, they were like 70. Yeah. But you know when there was that list of schools that came out that had sexual assault claims made against them.
You're right. Okay.
It was on that list.
Yeah.
I was like, that makes so much sense. But so we used to have this, like, obviously all boys school. We used to go do sports, and we had this big communal shower with like 12 showers in this.
We've all had that. I had the same.
And then obviously no one wants a shower. I'm a 15-year-old kid, maybe 14. And it's a bit awkward. And the teacher would come in. He was an elderly teacher. He must have been 70 years old.
Stood there watching.
And he'd stand in the change rooms.
We've all had that as well.
But if you didn't shower, he would shuffle you into the shower. Fully naked, and he'd stand in the doorway of the communal shower, so you couldn't get past him, and he'd stand there just staring at you. I
feel like we went to the same school.
Probably. Staring at your willy, and then I remember one of the comments goes, make sure you wash all the blood, sweat and tears off, otherwise I'll come over there and do it myself. And obviously at 14, 15 years old, we're like, ha, that's a bit weird. And looking back, I'm like, ha.
It's
really weird.
Yeah, anyway, we'll move on swiftly, I feel.
Trauma.
I feel like we should probably put a bit of a trigger warning in this. This wasn't planned, by the way. This just came off the tongue.
Yeah,
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not well in the head.
Look, we've all had our ups and downs, but I feel like it's definitely.
My God, we've lost him.
The music needs to happen now.
Please.
Press play.
Okay, fine. Okay, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, whatever the time is. Yeah, sorry about him and, well, all of us really. We're all guilty in many ways. But this is episode 21.
Be careful your words today, please.
21?
21 again.
21. 29 plus 10.
What were you up to when you were 21?
I was still working at the supermarket that told me about my grandma dying. I just left when I was 21.
Oh, good God.
But anyway, yes, we've made it this far once again. Pump Fiction, welcome back. It's good to be here. It's good to have you guys watching if you're on YouTube, listening if you're on Spotify, iTunes, or any of those other interesting platforms. But
yes.
How are you doing, gentlemen? Are we well?
Yeah, a bit hot actually, but I'm alright.
I'm hot, but only because of what just happened in terms of laughing.
Okay, fine.
I couldn't hold myself together.
Feeling a bit anxious today. I don't know why.
I can tell you why.
Yeah, I know why. I was late as well.
Late.
This is bad for us ADHDers. I was like, hello.
It was before the day started. I don't know. It goes in waves, doesn't it? I suppose. But yeah. So
low mood's a very normal thing.
When these two basically announced they're both going to. Well, no, he announced he was going to be late. He just decided to be late because he was late. He
was like, I'm going to get here at 6:30. I was like, all right, well, I'll get here at 6:30 as well then.
Get here at 20-7 then.
As the one who tries to steer.
I was actually 6:32. Thank you very much.
So you were late then.
Yes, I was.
Yeah. So
I came on time.
As the one who tries to steer this ship and keep everything organised, set everything up, just so you guys can sit down and start talking.
We do appreciate you.
Sorry, Mum.
No, we do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. I feel that's sincere.
Yeah.
I don't believe him.
He is a cretin, so ignore him.
I remember the first time someone actually called me a cretin. I remember how old I was, where it was. It was a great time.
Core memory.
It was my friend's mum.
Cretin is just a good word that's not a swear word, but it just delivers.
So when you're 14 years old, it sounds like
I use menace now because of you.
Yeah, hello, that's me. Hello.
But yes, so episode 21, and today we got 3 loose subjects, although we got a bit of a time limit because you seem to think you need to leave at 8 o'clock. Is that correct?
I'll leave to America in a week.
A week? Actually, with your time.
Well, so you need to leave. You need to leave at 8 tonight because you're going to America.
No, I've got to do my work. I've got to plan. I've got to film, edit, upload 5 videos.
Right, so it's not like a strict 8 o'clock. You need to leave around 8 o'clock.
I want to be home by 8:30.
Fine, well, you can just drive quicker.
No, because I don't speed. It's bad for you.
But today we're going to be talking about alcohol. I felt like we're heading into the summer, so let's talk about...
heading into the summer? We're going into August. Summer's nearly over.
No, we're not.
August is still summer, dude.
Yeah, but school holidays started.
Heading into summer.
Alcohol.
You should have said heading into summer back in June or
school holidays started this week.
We're in the bosom.
If you're at school,
summer.
you shouldn't be drinking anyway. So ignore what you just said.
Think about the parents that listen to this show or may not
definitely
do. I don't know.
Drink. If you got
COVID was wild. Well, I was obviously still living with my mum then. 11 o'clock here in the morning. She was still on the clock at work. She gets smashed every day. She was getting drunk in the garden. I was like, what is my life? What are you glaring?
I don't know what to say about that, really. I'm not going to pass any judgment of any sort.
She's still doing that now? Or?
She does like a drink.
That's okay, though.
Yeah, apparently.
Sorry, this is not an intervention film.
I was going to say, I haven't touched alcohol for 10 years.
That's the next month's show. But yeah, so also I wanted to talk about deadlifts and squats. Do we need them? We can discuss that shortly.
We might pause. I
didn't know if you wanted to answer now.
We can save it. It's fine. And then finally, Hyrox. I don't know if anyone's heard of it, but I've seen the name popping up here and there, and I'm like, what the F is Hyrox? So we're going to talk about that later as well.
The fridge.
But is there any particular order that you would like to cover these bases today, gentlemen? Anyone?
Hyrox can go last because it's the least favourable.
Yeah, true. And then seeing as we started with a little bit of powerlifting chat, should we talk about squats and deadlifts?
Sure.
Yes.
Now, the reason I ask this question is because I follow a lot of S&C coaches both in the UK and abroad and so on, and generally to try and pick up useful information about training, which is more advanced than your typical kind of bro stuff that I've done over the years. I'm always looking to develop my skill set, especially as someone who's trying to be more athletic now with my running and so on. You don't see many S&C coaches these days prescribing conventional barbell deadlifts and barbell back squats. I'll see a lot of hex bar deadlifts.
Or if you're Joel Seedman, you'll see a lot of upside down banded. Yeah, he still follows me. I called him out in a video and said, you're pushing out nonsense, behave, still follows me.
Yeah, I'm very aware that a lot of S&C coaches are trying to reinvent the wheel and create kind of crazy stuff.
Like most PTs.
like a lot of PTs and influencers.
That's why I got a job.
But I wanted just to, as two people who are quite advanced in lifting and S&C combined, I wanted to gauge your thoughts on it.
I think Mike and I probably have very similar opinions on this. I think, like, I don't know, you do need to program them. Again, it depends on your goals. If you're a bodybuilder, you don't need to, but I do think it's really important learning how to do them effectively before you do anything else. I think learning how to squat really well, learning how to deadlift very well, carry over to so many other movements. And whether, like, I don't squat or deadlift per se, but my squat and deadlift were, like, technically fine, which means I can barbell row quite well. I can RDL really well. I can do hack squat well. I can do leg press, like, things like that quite well. Which I think if I didn't know how to squat or deadlift beforehand, I'd find it really hard learning all those things individually when I can actually just transfer one skill that applies to so many. But also, if you are like I think depending on your sport, if you're a powerlifter, yes, you do have to. Like, categorically, you have to. So I think it's important to learn them regardless of what your goals are, but you don't necessarily have to incorporate them into your program depending on your goals once you've learned them.
I think, just before I let you speak, Mike, well, the other reasons that I ask it is because I see a lot of younger people coming into the gym now. Obviously, you know the gym that I train at, and a lot of them focus a lot of their time on powerlifting and their squat and their deadlift and so on. And then I wonder to myself, well, why are you competing in powerlifting? If you're not, then do you do it for the aspect of community? Do you because you feel like it's something you should be doing? Do you want to just get stronger, which is fine? Do you need, I often wonder the motive of people when they opt to give a lot of time to those particular lifts.
To answer your question, I think all those things. I think it is part of that people see it, so they might, well, this is the cool thing to do, so I want to learn to do it. And powerlifting is very in vogue at the moment.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's growing as a sport considerably in this country.
What's driving that?
Social media, probably.
Social media. I think, like, especially when you look at like American TikTok influencers and all that stuff, you see a lot of very young people who are extremely strong,
incredibly
and
strong.
Everyone's in the comments been like, oh my god, bro, you're so strong, or girl, you're smashing it, like, and everyone's like, okay, I want to be that strong then, because being strong is what makes me popular. So I think there's some of that.
Yeah, I'd agree
in there.
Yeah, no, I think
and then what was the other things you said? So if I want to get stronger, well, yeah, like, that is a great way to get strong. It's one of those things that if it desert island lifts, if you only had to pick a few things,
maybe
I would do that.
Maybe it's because when I joined the gym, I was just, I'm an insecure person. I want to look good naked, so that's why I go to the gym, and that's probably still why I go to the gym. I did want to get strong, which is why I spent a good few years working on those lifts. So I've done my time doing it, and I can probably say that it did benefit me. But then also I can say that maybe it had detrimental effects when I started getting too heavy with it, because then it started impacting my biomechanics, or like even my hips and stuff like that. Because I got up to a decent amount of weight, or what I consider to be a decent amount of weight. But then where is it potentially going to have? Because I focused on those two barbell movements instead of doing more kind of stuff that's more biomechanically appropriate, like hex bar, for example, which is probably better for
you. You better lift more weight.
Yeah. With that. So should you try and vary it more instead of just focusing on?
I think, like, going back to your point about, like, you did it for a while and then did it become detrimental. I think that's where the nuance of having, like, someone experienced helping you, knowing when to jump out of that into the next thing for you, because it is quite a nuanced thing, the squat and the deadlift. Like, obviously, if you're a powerlifter, you need it. It's 2/3 of your sport, so you need to get really good at it. I think if you're a bodybuilder, I agree with Harry. I think I look at everything from a movement perspective. So learning how to, the tenets of being a good squatter and a good deadlifter carry over to using plate-loaded machines and using cable machines, and even just moving, like gait cycle if you're a runner and all that kind of stuff. So I do think it has value, but exactly like you said, I think there comes a point where you need to pick a route. Like, if you want to be a powerlifter, keep pushing that. If you want to become a bodybuilder, like Harry says, there comes a point where you can't really load those movements enough to load the tissue to get the growth you need without potentially sacrificing recovery, potential injury increase, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's the thing I always kind of say with a squat, for example, looking like a bodybuilding perspective, is if I take a squat to failure, like category to failure, we understand that to get like effective reps, we need to take a target musculature, let's say the quads, to within 4 reps of reserve, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, to get anywhere from 1 to 5 effective reps. If I squat, I take it to absolute failure, and my core is what gives out, not my quads. My quads might still have 4 left in the tank, but my core's got 0. Therefore, I've got some 5 effective reps for my core, but I've got only 1 effective rep for my quads. If I do a hat squat instead, I could actually get the 5 effective reps for my quads without a weak link holding me back. I still think it's a good movement, absolutely. And I do think there is a time and place, maybe on like a resensitization phase, you could program it, or if you want to power build, something along those lines. But ultimately, I think with any kind of movement, not just squat, bench, or deadlift, I think those are fundamental to learn so you can apply it to other things. But I think the incorporation of those 3 big lifts, or even just a squat and deadlift, really much come down to, does your sport or goal need it? Because every movement you choose, if you're a bodybuilder, every movement you choose should be to essentially benefit that goal.
It's an intentional.
If you're functional, if you're a powerlifter, if you're a runner, every movement you choose should directly benefit that goal. If the squat or the deadlift don't benefit that goal, you probably actually don't need to include them. But if they do, you probably can.
Like you might see, for example, squats for S&C where they're not doing full depth, they're just doing like a quarter just to get more like hip movement.
Yeah.
Well, they say about like I can't remember, I saw a study ages ago about jumping. They said you want to go down 45 degrees and jump up from there. So therefore, like if I'm doing a jumping sport, then I'm never going to go beyond that depth anyway.
I don't need to jump starting from the bottom, right at the bottom. And
I don't need to get stronger in that range of motion. I need to get stronger in the range of motion I'm going to compete in. Therefore, I should do movements to a limited range of motion to benefit the range of motion that needs that power and that
being explosive from the point where you would apply it.
And being explosive is as much about deceleration as acceleration. So if you can learn to get strong to a certain point and actually resist force, so like the stability side, then you can exert force in opposite direction. And that helps you jump higher. But whereas that's why it's kind of like if you jump off a box and land and stop yourself, how high you can stop yourself is your ability to slow down. If you jump off a box and then land on 2 feet and you hit the floor, I would argue you don't have very good deceleration. So you're actually going to struggle to transfer that force back up again.
Yeah, like a bit of a slingshot.
So that when you run and you can actually every time you take a step, you don't lunge. Think how long it'd take you to run if you lunged every time.
Interestingly, for the better of my running, I've started doing more kind of plyometric exercises, like with weight as well.
So as you should,
So therefore, it's trying to take the basics of what I learn and then adapting those for what I'm trying to be better at. And I do still kind of feel like I'm a bodybuilder. I still try to maintain the physique I've worked hard for. So therefore,
pump stuff in.
And you still look like one.
Yeah, that's like basically
when you with your top off, I'm just like, that guy runs.
Well, I'm trying to kind of defy what people think a runner should look like or what a bodybuilder should be able to do, because ultimately you wouldn't think that a bodybuilder could run a marathon, and equally you wouldn't think a marathon runner could compete in a bodybuilding show. But I want to say that you can.
And I'd actually say that what you're doing is kind of like where fitness is currently going at the moment. That whole power building thing, although it is a bit of a thing, when it comes to programming, I think you should just stick to something.
If you want to be the best at something, you have to focus on one thing. If you want to be the best marathon runner, you probably have to really hone in. But if you want to be good at both, you can be good at both.
It stresses me out that I'm not faster already, even though I've only been running for a year. But part of me knows that I'm limited by the fact that I'm carrying more muscle than any runner would want to be carrying. But I have to be okay with that. I still came 11th place in my park run on Saturday, where they did a 5k around 21 minutes, which isn't bad. But I still want to be faster, but it's just because how I am. I want to be good at everything, but I can't be good at everything because things begin to sacrifice each other.
And that actually, that's just triggered a point in my mind. So I think another thing was the squat and the deadlift is like the culture of fitness. Like there is like some rite of passage around learning the big lifts, because everyone always like, how much do you bench, bro? Like it's a bit of a joke, but also at the same time, it's a universal thing of like, everyone knows that. It doesn't help training necessarily, but I think it helps you be ingrained of, I've learned how to deadlift and squat and bench. I don't need it anymore. It's like a character tree on a video game. You do the initial skills, then you start to become a specialist in whatever you want.
I think it's one of those things of there's almost like an element of respect to be gained from lifting a certain amount. Like as silly as it sounds, obviously at the Slough gym, I only started getting a lot of respect there when people saw how much I lift. Even as a bodybuilder, when I started dumbbell pressing the 70 kilos, then someone was like, hello. But because then you see someone who's strong, you see someone big, you're like, oh cool, that's big. But you say, oh, he's big or he's a runner, but I still bench 5 plates, I still bench this. They're like, Oh, gee, fair enough.
There's an immediate respect gained from that. Yeah,
well, it's like Big Lawrence, who I train with. He's obviously in his 50s now.
He looks good for 50s.
And he doesn't train as often as he should.
Arms.
He doesn't train as often as he should. He's just a naturally big guy.
He's always been. I've known him since Pulse 8.
And he can turn up to the gym and he can still rep out like 150 kilo bench just with nothing.
Yeah.
And the fact that and I think for him, the fact that he can still do that is kind of just a benchmark for him to say that I can still cut it around here. And people will look at him doing that and they're like, okay, fuck.
I wrote you off, but actually I was wrong.
I don't think you would look at him and write him off, but I'll
tell you
150 though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I do miss is about the powerlifting is I miss going to the gym knowing that I have a pending lift of like a PR or something like that, and being really anxious about it, but also having like the community support of people are watching you lift like a new weight, which is hopefully respectable, and then that and then getting hyped up and then smelling salts and all that kind of like drive for it. I miss that, like the performance side of things, because I'm obviously bodybuilding, you're trained hard, trained to failure,
but it's a lot of solo.
But it's a very lonely sport,
as we've always said.
And I prefer, when I'm bodybuilding training, I much prefer training alone. I just like crack it on, headphones on, see if I can do it in an hour and 15, and then I'm happy. It's almost like a can I get it done. But when I'm powerlifting, or when I was powerlifting, you can't. Like we saw with the video of the guy hurt himself or killing himself, you have to have people there. It's very community driven. It takes longer, which is a bit of a hindrance with work and stuff. But it's also exciting knowing that I'd struggled to sleep the night before. With the 4-plate bench press, when I first did it, when I was 23, I was anxious for. I literally programmed for 6 months to build up to it,
to get to that point.
There, because I said I'm here now. I want to get from 160 to 180 in 6 months at 23 years old.
D-Day came.
Yeah, and then I had the date set. It was a Thursday, and I flew out to America on like the Saturday or something. I was like, I have to do it.
Yeah.
And I went in, like had it all planned. The music leading up to it, I was listening to poetry on the way. Everything was planned.
Yeah.
People came, like my friends at the time weren't training, but they came down to spot me, which was really nice.
That's a big moment.
Yeah, and then I literally just did that. That was my session, and I did a bit of like a quick arm pump, then left, because that's what I was
and because
there
they
for.
Knew how important it was to you, so they came down.
Well,
it was
like
nice.
A competition environment almost.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's interesting about powerlifting, obviously, is like the metrics are so different to bodybuilding. Bodybuilding, you got to think about the intensity of the session, and like if you don't have a good intense session, you're a bit like, oh. Whereas powerlifting, you're like, as long as I tick the box today or get close to it, like that's what I need. If I need a bit longer rest today, that's okay. If my warm-up's a bit janky, it's fine. So there's like there's like a smaller margin for error in powerlifting, much. But with bodybuilding, it's because it actually a lot more matters during the session.
I'll tell you one thing, programming for powerlifting is so much more fun than programming for bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is very simple. Train to failure. That's it. It doesn't really matter what you do. Train to failure.
Do muscle.
Yeah, literally you're laughing. But with powerlifting, it's like, okay, well, accessories, we know we can't take these to failure because they're going to build up too much fatigue. That's going to take away from this. You're going to squat multiple sets. It's going to be really taxing. So you need to actually go to this RPE, and then this movement, because you're doing so much of this, you need to be able to counter it with this external rotation stuff. And you're like, that's exciting.
It's a bit more like that meme from The Hangover where the digits.
Yeah.
But like, that's really fun.
And then that's before you've even taken into account the athlete probably not eating, not sleeping.
Yeah, what are their recovery metrics like? What injuries do they have? What other things are they? Okay, we know they're hypermobile here, so what do we have to do with this? Like, it's so fun thinking like, well, I have so many variables I need to manage now as like a coach. It's like, it's exciting. I look forward to it. But bodybuilding is just there like, these are good movements. You need lengthened here, shortened here, this from this angle, this from this angle.
It's kind of, and that's kind of why it's boring, right?
Yeah.
But if you love it, it's not boring because you're like, I added 2 reps.
Yeah,
today.
Yeah, and that's really cool.
Like,
and,
wow.
and then when you get the pump, you look, I feel better.
Yeah,
but there's still that itch that isn't scratched. It's like, I want to squat a lot of plates.
I do sometimes think about going back to it, and then when I do, I always feel worse. A bit sore
I do.
for it.
It sounds really stupid, but that's why you always say, I'm going to start benching. Yeah. Then I do it, then I stop.
Like,
I always get in my head. And my elbow blows up, but I always get in my head. I'm saying, I almost feel a bit like down about it because I'm so like,
it'll never be as good.
Well, the thing, because I just get too hyper fixated on I need to do this now. I always say, if I'm going to go back to powerlifting, which I will at some point, and I will have to commit to it and go all in. And I'm not going to wear the suit, but I said to Mitch the other day, I said I want a total 850 in reps within like 3 years of actually committing to it.
That'd be so good.
Which I don't think is unrealistic based on like even my bench. I'd have to bench 5 plates. I'd be livid if I can bench over 200 kilos now. Like, not training for it. But I go up in body weight, I go up to 120s. But I said if I'm going to do it, I'm going to commit to going for an 850 total or like an 840 total. But I'm not going to do it until I'm ready to go in for like 3 years on this.
To it.
Yeah. But I'm a long way off that. I still got to compete. I have to step on stage next year and things like that.
See, I really wanted to kind of challenge this, but now I just want to go and deadlift.
Yeah, I know.
I hate that's the other thing I do. I even said if I'm going to lean towards it, the year before I go for it, I have to spend that year just making sure my back is like rock solid.
I'd like to get back over 200 kilo deadlift again.
Yeah, you can do that easily.
That's a good
You
number.
can do that in no time.
That's a good
I think
number.
you'd be surprised. Yeah. It's a respectable number. Well, I think any number is respectable because strength is relative. But from like our circle, I think that's quite like a... It's a common sticking point.
But I was heavier when I did that, though.
Yeah. Deadlift is, of all the lifts, I say deadlift is the one that's least impacted by body weight. Arguably, people when they actually lose weight tend to improve their deadlift because they get better leverages.
Well, look at your mate Jason. He's like,
he deadlifts probably about
human crane
at 78 kilos. I'm confident if he actually trained for it properly, he could probably put up 300 kilos in a couple of months.
His
calibrated plates, like bars.
He looks like a tiny human, but he just moves massive weight.
Massive back. He's built.
He's got big back and big chest, and he's got really long arms.
I was going to say it's the length of the arm.
Even though he still benches 3 plates.
I do find it interesting. When I did the pre-script barbell course a couple of months ago, I did it. Yeah, it was just cool to like learn new ways of thinking about programming. Like they have a big thing about regress the pattern, not the load. So when you do a deload, you can do heavier weight obviously for less reps a little bit, but you still want to drive the stimulus. But then if you got too much fatigue, it's like go make something like, rather than doing a low bar, go do a front squat, because your heaviest front squat is going to be nowhere near the percentage.
It's going to be a warm up of a low bar sort of thing.
But you still can drive the stimulus because it's still a difficult movement.
Yeah.
And you can do this, and that's the best way to do it. And like you said, programming for it's really fun that way.
Yeah, it's honestly like with bodybuilding, it's one of the things of like categorically, in most cases, I wouldn't program a front squat because chords go out. But when you're powerlifting, when you're doing something else or something strength related, like I know I actually could, you suddenly have this idea of so many variations, bands you could do if you really want to accommodating resistance. You suddenly have like almost like you're almost like in a sweet shop, and rather than saying I can only choose from these 3 things, I've got 100 I can play with. I could do tempo stuff, which we know is not massively relevant for hypertrophy. Obviously more contact needed there, but for powerlifting actually is, because it's really good for technique work, it's really good for this, and there's like you can do all the things that they say is not optimal. It's actually potentially optimal for a different sport, and it's like really fun.
Yeah, there's no such thing as bad exercise. It's just can be misapplied.
Yeah, that's I completely agree. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just really fun. I miss it.
Let's go do some powerlifting, guys.
Oh, go on then.
I ran around a track today and my hamstrings hurt. Let's just go do some deadlifts.
Why are you running around a track?
I don't know. My cousin runs and Jess runs now, so I was just like, I'm going to get some shoes and start running.
Maybe there's some nice shoes there if you want. You can
I've got some Asics Magic Speed 3.
I like the name.
Nice.
They're white. That's as much
Magic Speed?
I think so.
Not Metas, no?
No. Magic.
That's why I
chose the name because I was like, I need a miracle to get me around this track.
The Harry Potter
I did 400 meters and went, why do people do this?
Yeah, I used to cross country run, and at the time I was like, this is really cool.
Critique my shoes.
Here we go.
I'm just looking at them, it's all.
They're good. No, they're good, and they've got some weird thing in them because obviously I'm used to wearing.
Well, they got the colour as well. The pink.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's got the FF plus midsole in it.
The F.
I like the F.
It's good material. That.
Yeah,
I like them. They look good.
I bought them because I liked the colour.
That's why I buy shoes for.
Why didn't you speak to me about running shoes?
Because
you know what? I totally blanked on that.
And also, he bought them for colour. Remember, and
Chris would get so cross because he'd be like, right.
No, it actually
I didn't know. I did speak to Tom Baker about it.
To be fair, they look like a good shoes.
Thank you.
They'll be fine for what you need to do.
Yeah.
Baker knows his stuff. Baker knows
there we go. That's what I need, versatile, because that's me.
Yeah, no,
that's sick.
good looking shoe.
Thank you so much.
To be fair, if I'm going to get running advice, you've got Chris and Baker. You've got two pretty clued up people. It's pretty good.
I'm utterly obsessed with it. So yeah, you can definitely talk to me about it.
Baker's done it for years, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, God, he knows what he's doing.
He's a
represented GB in triathlon.
Yeah, he's a genius when it comes to it. He's a smart. I rate Baker a lot. I've got a lot of time for Baker. Just a nice guy.
Me too.
He'll be glad to hear that, Baker. If you're watching,
he listens to this.
Does he?
Yeah. He messages our Instagram.
I like that.
Thanks, boys. It's nice that you're back.
I'm always shocked when people say they listen to this.
I know.
I had some guy who I went to school with. I've not spoken to since I was at school. Who was like in the popular crowd at school. He commented on my YouTube video like last year, and it was like, and it says subscribe for 5+ years. I'm like, why are you watching my videos, man?
Yeah.
It's obviously cool. I was like, I really appreciate you.
They'll have a school reunion that you don't go to, and they're like, "Should we watch Harry?"
But there are people that I went to school with 20 years ago, because I'm that fucking old, that I haven't spoken to in that time, but they're all still watching my Instagram stories. And I
the creepers.
They might be creeping, or they might be hate stalking.
I don't know. Creepers, man. Watch out for them.
To be fair, I get some interesting creep. Oh,
they literally create a whole probably a backstory about. They think they know you.
I have people make fake accounts so they can spy on me so they don't know it's them. Till it says,
have you had your identity stolen online? As someone tried to fake you?
I was actually livid about it. I've been livid about this for a couple of years now. I'm really pissed about this now. I've seen some people online who have 1,000 followers and they're like, this account's not me, this is a fake account. I think they're all lying. I think they're making their own fake accounts because why has no one tried to impersonate me? I'm pissed off about that. I've got 70,000 people on YouTube. One of you impersonate me and call me something really wild and get me in trouble.
People have used me on dating profiles over the years. I've been sent that a few times.
See, I had someone message me once saying, I'm really sorry for swiping left to you. Is left no on Tinder? I don't know.
Left is no.
Okay.
Swipe right.
They were like, yeah, really
is
sorry.
Is Mike our dating expert?
Probably. Well, I
met Jess on Tinder.
Can we put you on Love Island?
I think that would be quite funny because
hate it.
I have slight sociopathic tendencies and I'm really good at manipulation.
Get you fucking ripped and put you on Love Island.
Thank you. Hey. I need that actually. I need that kick up the arse.
No, just let's get you in an absolutely absurd shape.
Because I would be there to play games, and I think that judging by the people that go on, and this is obviously not a sweeping statement because I'm sure they're really nice people, but the personas that they put on the show, because I do think they play up to the show.
Yeah.
They do. Well, you know Rob Lipsett? Did you see Rob's video about it?
I know.
Well, Rob Lipsett went on Love Island and he came out after you obviously got booted off. After the NDA expired or whatever, he came out and said, they give us they set up drama. They say, okay, you're going to do this with this person. This person's going to do something. And they'll react.
They probably have a speaker that they just pump into the garden and just say, right, Harry, can you just head over to the pool, please? We're going to have an interaction with Chris.
And obviously, I'm not taking my top off in the pool.
That person.
I'm not taking my top off in the pool for.
But I would go and just be really weird because I feel like people wouldn't vote me out just to see what weird stuff I'd do. I start hiding the food.
The malcontent.
Yeah.
Start putting food in people's beds.
Yeah,
I start hanging their teddy bears
hiding in the
down.
Pool,
start doing
with a snorkel.
Yeah, you know me.
Start stealing shoes. Don't know, swimming around.
Yeah, fair.
Just not being interested in the drama and just being like, I'm here to have a holiday.
Every time it feels, what's Mike doing? It's just Mike sitting in the corner looking at a plant, stroking it.
I just worry that you'd get
Mike is plotting the plants.
Everyone just thinks he's the weird one.
He's doing the weeding.
Don't talk to him. He's the weird one.
Yeah, probably. Keep me in. I'd win.
I know someone who actually
break the system.
I used to be friends with him back in the day who went on Love Island years ago. He got booted out in one day.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck it.
I think
Chris Baxter.
If you're mildly
Chris Baxter, I'm pretty sure he bought all his followers on Instagram.
We won't be listening to this.
I know, but that's why I can say it. I know actually from his close friend that he bought all his followers on Instagram. They managed to sneak his way onto Love Island because he's got some
easy to
networking, very connected parents.
So as someone who now has to book influencers for my clients and stuff, I can totally spot when someone's bought a following because ultimately they'll have 40,000 followers, but they'll post something and it'll get 30 likes.
Yeah,
the ratio's off.
To be fair, my engagement panned after I left powerlifting. But I used to get more engagement when I had 10,000 followers than I do now because all of them were powerlifters. When I used to show my lift, they were like, yeah, I love this. And they love it.
Yeah. But if you post a reel now, that is a really good indicator of how popular someone is because reels will always get views because the algorithm pushes a reel. So therefore, if I see an account with 40,000 followers and their reels only get a couple of hundred views, I'm not booking you.
That's actually valid, yeah.
Because I'm booking you because I want engagement. So therefore, if I look at your your account, and the amount of views you get on a reel is a very instant indicator to me how many potential customers are going to see the video that you generate when you come to my venue.
I need to start getting on reels.
It's a good.
I've been meaning to. I just never know what to post on my reels.
It's a really good indicator, I guess, of that waterfall effect or that snowball effect of it goes out and out.
I can do if we want to do a social media episode.
Can we? Because I need help on my reels and my TikToks.
Watch now how many accounts we boost with that episode.
Yeah, can we boost mine, please?
We can do an episode. I'd quite like to do an episode where we tell PTs how to be better PTs. And what it's maybe
that would be a very contentious one. I'd quite like to do.
Yeah, I'd get a bit naughty with that, I reckon.
And then another episode on how people can be better on social media, like a marketing episode. I'm happy to do that.
How to be more responsible.
I'm going to be saying the whole time, just taking notes and how do I apply this?
Yeah, and if anyone was to,
because honestly, I need to take social media far more seriously after America. I always said when I get back from America, I need to actually take it more seriously.
You can just chat to me about it.
I'm going to send you a message, Chris. I need some real help.
Delete all your posts and remove all the people you follow and then just start again with a really cryptic message.
I hate that.
If you're seeing this,
don't follow my advice.
You.
Anyway,
I can smell your shoes from here. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, sure.
we've tangented beautifully. I mean, I miss our tangents. We don't tangent enough, I feel, sometimes. And I feel like people are listening and watching for the tangents because we are good at rambling. I feel like we're quite good at rambling.
Especially something we're angry about. I think we could all...
Or opinionated on.
Better word.
I like angry. Let's get angry.
I get cross about things on the internet.
But I'm satisfied that we did some good deadlift and squat chat. I don't really feel like we kind of gave it a definitive answer. But
it depends.
Hey! Okay, fine. It depends. Good.
I actually love that. That's my favourite part of this whole thing we've ever done.
I'll clip that.
That needs to be a sound now.
Yes! Do it.
Well, okay, I'll get that next time. If you want, we can all say it depends together on 3, and I can clip that.
Oh dear, we have fun.
Is that too organised, or maybe?
No, I like it.
1, 2, 3.
Wait, I'm not ready. Wait, we need to do it next episode when I'm in a better mental headspace for organisation. At the moment, I'm feeling.
You can't say the word. It depends.
No, I'm feeling chaotic now.
Okay.
You've got me riled up.
That'll do. Forget it. I'm trying.
In fact, use that one.
This is me trying to pull this show together. But anyway, let's move on to alcohol.
I don't drink, so
all good stories start with a drink.
I've not had a drink. I'll tell you when I last drank. I've not had a sip of any alcoholic beverage since February 9th, 2013.
That's a long time.
Whoa.
Over 10 years, yeah.
That's mega.
What happened the last time you had a drink? For that to be the last time you had a drink? Not a lot.
Was
it a bit of a bleep?
Is it just like a mental health trigger?
Well, to be honest, I mean, we could get a bit deep with it. I can get a bit deep with it. But that was after my last MMA scrappino. Into club ting, and we all went out and drank. I was like, I just don't enjoy drinking.
No.
That's one reason. Another reason is obviously a bit of a spicy brain, so I don't like losing control.
No, I mean, I haven't actually broached the subject of alcohol for that reason, but one of the reasons why I don't drink excessively anymore is because the whole control thing.
Yeah, I don't like
you can tell I'm someone that likes to be in control of a situation, right? So one of the things I hate is when I do get drunk, I just get so full of regret, and I'm like, I even drunkenly start saying, I don't like it.
I think because obviously with the old BPD brain, control is a big thing. If I lose control, I don't know what's going to happen. Then I get in a bad situation. And also, being honest, my dad, very bad relationship with alcohol, as we know. Obviously, the instances with obviously episode 17 where we spoke about mental health, that was all probably alcohol related. And also, my mum drinks every day, like on most days, or used to drink every day. I don't know if she still does, but last time I checked, she did. And I remember once we said to her, like, "Oh, I dare to go a day without drinking," and she was like, she cried, and she was like, "That's one of the few things in life that makes me happy."
That's a red flag.
I was like, that's a bit problematic.
Did she cry because you tried to take it away from her, or did she cry because you highlighted the fact that it was a big deal that she did?
Well, I think it's like generational. I think in that.
To be fair,
escape.
Oh, it's not much. She just drinks half a bottle of wine every night.
That in itself is a control thing.
Half a bottle of wine every night.
That's something like that, I think.
Because I might be wrong. When people are like, "Don't take away my thing," it's because they're making the choice. Maybe their life is so chaotic. The drink is the only choice they have the control over.
Like, she has like friends, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't really like this person. Just someone to drink with." I'm like,
it is a social lubricant as well. Alcohol.
I didn't actually raise the subject to kind of look down on it at all because, like, I don't
care. I don't care if people drink. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I'm the
opposite. I actually like drinking. I love getting drunk, but actually, I just don't like the way it makes me feel afterwards.
Especially when you get older.
I love drinking, and I like having a few drinks and getting inebriated, but I just don't feel like there's enough opportunity for me where it's worth doing that.
You have to then sacrifice a day.
I tend to get drunk by accident, like in terms of like I drink and I'm drinking. Yeah, whoopsie.
Like, for me, if it's a worthwhile occasion, like someone's organised a social event, we're all going out or everything. And I don't want to, like in the old days, yes, when I was much like I've said before about when you're committed to something, it's okay to say no to it. If I've got no reason to say no to it, then I might as well go out and enjoy myself. So I'll have a few drinks and I'll get stuck in.
Yeah.
Like when I go on holiday, I will as well.
I think there's also the element of fear of dependency. Obviously, I've had a bad relationship with drugs in the past where something's good, I'm like, but then I do it obsessively and
it's good, I want more. More.
So obviously, because I know from that reason, or partly that reason, it's just not worth ever taking drugs again, so just don't touch them. Same thing with alcohol. If I get drunk and really enjoy it, because I've only ever actually been drunk twice in my life, maybe.
Wow.
When you drink, do you change?
I don't think he's been drunk often enough to know.
I think I would only, like I said, I used to have an occasional drink. Like, I'll try a drink. I was like, I just don't like this is not for me. It's just, I know it's not worth what this could make me.
Delicious cocktail?
No, not worth it.
I never thought you'd ever say those words.
What? I kind of respect it.
I like it. No, I like it. Cocktails are cool.
So
I think I'd ever say that phrase.
I think one of the reasons why it's not a big deal for me is because I don't like the taste of beer.
Oh yeah, beer tastes like arse.
Yeah.
But I didn't drink back in the day. I didn't drink for enjoyment.
The thing is, like, there are so many people that will say to you, it's summer, it's a lovely hot summer's day.
Can't wait for a beer.
Can't wait for that ice cold beer to hit the back of my throat. And it is a thing that triggers people, and it makes them feel
Marketing.
good. No, but they
as well.
But obviously, the taste of it is something that really does it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't get that.
No, I don't like it.
When I used to drink Foster's and just down it, trying to get through it. Yeah, it tastes like piss.
It's weak.
It just tastes a bit all copper.
I used to drink
sugar.
I used to drink a lot because I was so shy when I was younger, and I used to use it as the social lubricant.
That's an interesting one. Yeah.
And then people would be like, "Oh, you're way fun when you're drunk," and I was like, "Yeah, I am." And now I've actually just learned to bring that personality out when I'm sober. So when I get drunk, I'm just the same, but I'm drunk.
That's the thing.
I might be a little more confident, but not too much more.
You will be a little bit more kind of loosey-goosey when you've had a few drinks, though.
Loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
I think, like, even when I was younger, I just kind of acknowledge that I know with, like, family relations and they're, like, obviously the dad thing, it's like, I don't want to become him. But also, I don't want to enjoy it so much that I almost give myself more of a chance to become him. So, like I say, I only got drunk twice. I threw up once. I was a bit shit. The second time, did I even get drunk? I don't know. Maybe I haven't been probably drunk once.
I think I've thrown up 4 times, and all of them have been horrendous stories. But I can save them for another time. But they're not. It wasn't a good time.
I remember when I threw up, I had I'm not good. I'm just recalling what happened. I was like 18. I was at a house party. I got drunk, and there was this man who had taken a liking to me because it was like a hot tub party. So I was obviously on the hot tub, obviously drinking.
Where did you go to these parties?
I went to a private school, didn't I? So yeah.
We didn't go to the same school.
Daddy, we don't have the same life.
And then, so I was in the hot tub. I was like, okay, drunk. I'm sat there. I remember this well because I was there going, and the jet was hitting me in the back. I was like, I feel really unwell now. Yeah. And I go out. I sat down the thing.
You sure it was the jet that was hitting you in the back?
I hope so. And then this man who had taken a liking for me, bear in mind I'm topless now, was also topless. He was like cuddling me, trying to reassure me. I'm so like, firstly, at the point I was like, that's not my preference. Secondly, I have a girlfriend at this point. And thirdly, I'm going to be sick.
So stop.
And I just shunned it.
Nice.
And I was like...
Good defense mechanism.
Yeah, well, it didn't work. But to clarify, it did. And then I went home and my sister picked me up. I was like, Big, I feel very sick right now, actually. And then I lay in bed and I felt like I was on a roller coaster. And I woke up the next day and I was like, I feel like shit.
So good. Well done. Your drunken stories are quite special.
That's my singular drunken story.
When I was at uni, I think between the ages of 19 and 22...
You were constantly drunk.
I was drunk 4 times a week for like 4 years.
Yeah, when I was in the music industry, not permanently, but like obviously when you were gigging, like 2-3 nights a week, you're drinking a lot.
I worked for a nightclub, so it was like owners in Southampton. It's just like every club you go into is, that's Mike. Just he knows, what he likes. Just put it on the bar. And it was like bang. It's very strong, isn't it?
We had a rider, which basically meant that you were, given free alcohol, or when I was DJing, you had a rider, you got free alcohol.
It just appears, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just
in your hand, and you just start drinking it.
I'd be the easiest one. Can I have some tap water, please? Just relatively cold would be nice. Yeah. That's all I want. Maybe a cheeky Coca-Cola, 1, not 2.
Just 1.
But what about, you must get clients, though, that like a drink.
Yeah.
And what's your response to that?
Depends on their goal.
Yeah.
I mean, if they start setting really unrealistic expectations, I'm like, well, the first thing that's got to go is probably cut down the alcohol.
So you're not saying bin it, it's just
like, especially you ask them how many they're having.
It's like me saying I eat chocolate, a whole chocolate cake a day. We'd probably start with cutting that down. Actually,
can we do half a chocolate
cake? Yeah. So you're not telling people just to cut it out. You're basically cutting.
I think it's unrealistic for a lot of people.
If they're like quite low in body fat, like a normal amount of body fat, I don't know what that would be. That's very subjective, but. And then I want to get ripped in like 12 weeks. I'm like, well, I can get you lean in 12 weeks. We definitely need to go on like a very temporary
Could be quite
diet,
strict,
which probably involves getting rid of excess calories and alcohol. I know it's the fun one, but we need to get rid of that.
But it's not
liquid calories are just bullshit. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they're really handy when you're in a bulk. When you're in a massive phase, they're really handy.
Yeah, but you can't mass on beer, though, can you?
Oh, well, so the British public would make the difference.
A shot glass of olive oil? Because I have.
Yeah, I used to do that.
What?
Yeah.
You know how many calories are in that?
A lot
Add it to your protein shake.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, but you had to mix it and drink it pretty quickly, otherwise the oil separates a bit.
Yeah, and then it does all kinds of stuff in there too.
Back in the day, to be fair, I'm going to be honest with you, fish oil, everyone cries about fish oil. I actually kind of like the taste of fish oil.
Fuck off. It's
fishy.
I drink out of the bottle.
Have you ever had...
You are a psycho.
Have you ever had Udo's oil?
No.
I've heard of this. I've not had it.
I remember when I first started, when Ryan was coaching me, when I was completely new to it all, on his diet plan, he put Udo's oil on there for me. And I just assumed I had to do it, but it was so, like, just disgusting. And obviously it's really good for you, but there's just other things you can do. You don't have to do it. But, oh my God, awful stuff.
It's like organ meat is meant to be really good for you. It's so micronutrient dense, but it tastes like arse.
Yeah, liver is awesome, and it's grim. But then what you can do is mix it up with other things, and then it's a little more...
Look,
or you can freeze it and like swallow like a
There's
tablet.
other ways you can get that shit in your system.
Sort of on TikTok.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but don't bother.
Yeah, but good idea freezing it and put it in.
That sounds very Liver King.
That also sounds like to get like an ounce of liver. That's a lot of things.
There is a lot in it, because you think what a liver is and what goes through it. Like, so much blood and nutrients go through it. It is it's quite high in protein.
Is eating liver going to help someone who's damaging their liver with alcohol?
Probably.
Let's find out.
A net negative.
Negative.
Let's find out.
Just overall, because I think alcohol is like, I don't know. Obviously everyone's very different. Like, some people can assimilate alcohol really well, and some people, they look at drink and go.
I think one of the reasons I really did cut back on drinking when I got into fitness, like, much to the annoyance of my friends and family, were like, oh, why don't you drink anymore? Why do you drive all the time? Well, first of all, it's saving me a fortune in taxis, for one, and the alcohol itself.
Yeah, alcohol's expensive.
But also, obviously, I began to learn what alcohol, the effects of it had on my training and my progress and all that sort of stuff. And now that I'm into running and getting faster and stuff, and still into my bodybuilding and that, like, I just don't... It really has to be worth it for me, because ultimately the effects it has for the next few days after consuming...
It writes you off, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's mad. Like you don't have to travel very far on the internet to find a whole list of negative side effects for alcohol. Like, I mean, surely everyone knows the key ones. I mean, what have we got? Dehydration, which is an obvious one.
Which actually is probably one of the most damaging ones in terms of temporary damaging, in terms of performance, definitely. Liquid
calories we've already covered. It's basically the easiest way to consume. It reduces muscle glycogen uptake, which, when you think about what we all try to achieve,
the pump.
They also said it can hinder protein synthesis.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if that's...
I think it inhibits like so many different things.
The reason, it basically hampers fuel availability, and therefore, it's all that stuff.
When it comes to drinking, I have nothing against drinking at all.
No.
You drink, don't in the slightest, but it very much what do you want to achieve. I think you can have incredible physiques and do amazing things drinking, but with a reason. It's like eating McDonald's. You eat McDonald's excessively every day, probably not great for your physique. Had once in a blue moon, it's all right.
I'm not...
Moderation.
I guess the whole point of us talking about this wasn't me to basically slam drinking alcohol and say, oh, anyone who listens to this who goes out... Like, no, I don't agree with that. It's a bit, there's no point being unrealistic. It's like what we were saying on the last show, where people should be healthy all year round and shouldn't have a goal and work for looking good in the summer. It's the same thing. Like... Life's all about living, and like I've said on previous shows, we've got to do stuff that we enjoy, and nothing wrong with going out and having a drink, but maybe not all the fucking time.
I've never, as a coach with a client, ever made someone feel bad about the choice. I've just been honest, like you've been saying. You just
state the facts.
And it's like, look, if you want to keep drinking as much as you are, fine, you need to recalibrate the goal.
Yeah,
that's all. But you want to do it fine.
For the time frame, at least.
Or are you willing to moderate?
Yeah. Rule number 1 of coaching: do no harm. Rule number 2: do what the client likes. Like, that you kind of have to find a way to meet them where they are. I know that you're there to make sure they get the goal, and you do have to be firm with people.
You can't force people to do anything. That's the thing.
I bet you've had clients that love a drink, but then the minute they start really enjoying what they're doing with you and seeing progress, suddenly they actually drink a little bit less. Maybe they've actually realised themselves. They've kind of made that leap.
It's the same with food.
Yeah,
you don't always have to. You don't always have to say, right, no more snacks. You just say, we eat more protein, drink more water, and then they're like, yeah, I've just found I'm just not so hungry, so I just don't want the Pringles now. And you're like, JPG, interesting. I knew that would happen, but you just kind of...
JPG did a good post on that early on Threads. He basically posted that he woke up incredibly hungry, and we had a glass of water and a bit of chicken breast, and suddenly all his cravings just died. He said, like, you can control them to an extent. Just do something first. If you still crave it afterwards, then maybe you can...
Yeah, that's why I say just try drinking some water, because so many people are dehydrated. Yeah. It's like that you can get that a bit scrambled in your brain.
I speak to so many people who, like, I drink no water. The only water I get is from my tea.
Or like Monster.
Yeah, and they drink no water.
No, I get through like 3 of these a day.
You're going to cut back on Monster.
I had one earlier.
like one of my clients said to me ages ago, he's like, yeah, I have a glass of water in the morning. That's it. I'm like, I bet your piss stinks. Like,
and also, like, how do you not wake up with like a headache and like your skin in your gums and everything just feels like crap?
Like 4 to 6 litres deep, I'm like,
I get a pump if I'm not hydrated.
I mean, that's so true. Like, I could talk about it in regards to bodybuilding, but like people used to think, oh, you should dehydrate for bodybuilding shows.
No, you're 76% water.
Yeah, so therefore you're just basically not going to get a pump on stage at all if you're dehydrated.
Flaccid. No one wants to be flaccid.
Anyway, I don't think many of our viewers are that drilled down into bodybuilding.
Do you want to be flaccid?
No, pass. Thank you.
The last episode was talking about people who couldn't get it up either. What's your obsession with that?
Yeah, talk about being flaccid on stage.
Mind you, I think I got so many adverts
I thought we were going somewhere else there.
For like ED, erectile dysfunction, just want to point out. Adverts for pills and things, the HIMS stuff. Have you seen that? You probably started getting all the ads.
No, my ads are High School Musical. Don't ask why.
You get ads for high school music
sing-along games.
Yeah, a lot of different worlds.
Yeah. Anyway, is there anything more we want to add about alcohol? We don't like. I do like a drink. I'll have a cocktail. I like a nice spiced rum and Diet Coke.
Ooh,
what I will say is, I'm always looking for easy ways to reduce the calories. Diet Coke, for example.
Yeah.
Like diet tonic and stuff. So I'm
diet tonic.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
so like.
You think you can make better choices.
You can make better calorie-based choices. So I am trying to do that. Yeah. But I'm not stupid. There's no point in me worrying too much about my training for the next day and a half or so whilst my body figures out how to get rid of it all.
Yeah.
You just have to be real with yourself.
Be
real with yourself.
That's an app, isn't it? I don't know what it
is. You do just a picture of what you're up to in that moment, I do like the idea of that.
You're told when to take the photo.
So it has to be like not a set up situation.
I would say 90% of his B-reels would be him on the toilet.
I'll show you exactly what all mine would be.
Are you with the cat, probably?
This would be all my photos.
Just a close-up of your...
that Jocko, whatever his face is, takes a picture of his watch every day, like to say, like, you got to get up and pay the man and get it done. The guy that was a Navy SEAL or whatever.
Yeah.
Yours would just be like, just your nostrils every day. Remember, guys, you got nostrils?
I remember when we went to Nationals the first time last year. I ran out to take a picture of everyone. All I got was just a zoom. I think I got one, me and you, just zooming on our face going.
Yeah.
That's so what this is.
So that's very you.
I don't like real proper pictures.
We need to take better photos of ourselves for our content, I feel.
Yeah, I can zoom out the camera so I get all of us going.
Oh, brilliant. Extreme close-ups of everyone's faces. Yeah. Is that the cover art for next week then?
I like that. That's a good idea.
Right, we better take that at the end. Okay, fine.
God.
Easy thumbnail.
We are done with alcohol now, so we might as well finish up.
What's next?
We're going to talk about Hyrox.
Go on, Harry.
So basically, Hyrox sounds like Hydra, who's the villain in
the Marvel films.
Yeah, the Marvel films. Yeah. So we're going to talk about it. So it sounds like it's a villain.
People have mentioned it to me in the last few months. Have you heard of Hyrox? I'm like, no. Did a little bit of a look into it. Sounds a bit like CrossFit. I ignored it, and that's where it stayed.
That's where it ended.
But I figured that we haven't talked about it on this show. People might also be hearing about it. People might be interested. So Hyrox, who wants to take it? I think Michael might take it.
And for that, I'm going to point over to Mike because he probably knows a bit more than we do about this.
So, disclaimer, I did have to do a little... No, I do, a little bit. I did have to do a little bit of research before I came in.
At least one of us did.
Because I thought I knew what it was, similar to you. It is... The lazy way to describe it is an easier CrossFit.
I like that. Sounds a bit of me, that is.
But the reason why, because someone that does Hyrox will probably be really annoyed that I said that, because it is a lazy way of describing it. I think there's the movements are simpler, so there's less gymnastics, so less people doing bar muscle ups necessarily, although there might be less people doing handstand walks and the gymnastics based stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
And it's more like grunt work.
Oh yeah, good.
So you're less likely to have like a max clean and jerk, which the CrossFit would have. The CrossFit Games have that, whereas Hyrox would be like, it's called a chipper, where you start something at the beginning and you basically move through it to the end. So it's a race. So it's basically a CrossFit race.
Oh, we've lost me there.
Right. I've just Googled what is Hyrox and also the differences between CrossFit, and immediately I feel like it might be better than CrossFit. Now, the reason that... So first of all, it says it was founded in 2017. Hyrox is a global fitness race that aims to provide a new challenge for gym enthusiasts. The race combines functional strength training, high-intensity interval training, and endurance training, allowing it to test well-rounded fitness in a way that hasn't previously been done. Now, before you quickly jump in, the difference between it and CrossFit, apparently, is that it's less technical, so it's less based on the skill of technical lifts. Now, the reason I think it's better, therefore, than CrossFit from that alone is the fact that my concern with CrossFit has always been the fact that people are combining technical lifts, like what can be very dangerous technical lifts, with fatigue and timing.
100%.
Which is what has always been my negative thoughts on CrossFit, is the sense that, we've just talked about people dying squatting, for example, or like the technicalities of squatting and deadlifting. Why are people doing those against the clock in a hurry when you're fatigued?
Well, it's one of the things of they always used to say. I think CrossFit. I respect CrossFit athletes a lot. I think it's exceptionally hard.
Oh no, yeah, same.
And I think it can be actually really good if you can do it properly and like safely. As with anything, can be really amazing for achieving goals, and also really good for sport like rugby players and stuff like that. And I think the feats of strength and endurance they go up to is.
I'm completely on the level with you, like watching those documentaries.
But kind of what you said is, first of all, Olympic weightlifters who the snatch and the clean and jerk were Olympic lifts were for Olympic weightlifters. They will rarely do more than a few reps because they're so technical and they don't rush it. It's one, then let's do sets of 3. So, but then flip around, it's like, okay, well, if you're saying rather than do more weight, do more in time, there is only so many push-ups I can do in a minute without sacrificing the quality of that push-up to reduce range of motion, to maybe neglect technical efficiency. So when you're saying let's do a really complex movement in a very limited time frame, and your only means of progression is doing more of that in that time, you can only eventually do so much before things start getting sacrificed. And that's when I think it's actually onto the consumer where they start maybe neglecting technical considerations they should be focusing on.
Definitely. And I mean, I think CrossFit, and I'm going to make a sweeping statement here, literally came about because there were some people out there that could do CrossFit and were like, this is really hard. I wonder if other people can do this. And then
they can't.
You had some absolute genetic freaks that came from either like a military background, which CrossFit is so good, surrounded in a lot of military stuff. You look at all the WODs; they're all named after servicemen and women.
Murph is the one. He was ex-military, wasn't he?
Yeah,
that's really cool.
That died.
That's really cool.
It's like an honorary thing.
That's really nice.
I think most of them. Don't quote me on that, but so I think CrossFit came about because it's like we can do all this stuff, and because the first CrossFit Games was at Dave's ranch.
Yes, I remember, yeah.
And the guy who won it actually founded OPEX, which is cool. I did an OPEX course. So that's why I have some limited knowledge around functional training.
People like Matt Fraser and Claire Tiatumi, like
Rich Froning.
They were weightlifters.
Unreal, yeah, but their backgrounds are very high. Like they've got very skilled.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Claire Toomey was a Commonwealth weightlifter. Matt, I think, was a national weightlifter in America. And Rich, if you watch a documentary about him, he was just an all-star. He could do anything. He could pick up a baseball, throw it perfectly. He could ride a motorcycle. He could do everything. He was the all-American. He was Action Man. And then CrossFit came along, and he was literally just like, I'll give it a go. And then he won it like however many times in a row. But I think the sport was refined. But to touch on your point, the thing with CrossFit is the sport and the training modality they've managed to separate them now. Before, people were just competing every day in a box, and you had people that were just weekend warriors that were getting beat up. So I think actually, Chris, you touched on the point there, like Hyrox has come about because less skilled movements, so you can drive them to higher intensity, so it's a lot more competitor friendly, and it's also a lot better for the spectator because it's easy things. They're carrying that heavy thing, that's interesting. Like, it's a race, they're winning. So
like school sports day then? Is there an egg and spoon element?
Sure,
sack race?
Why not? It's adult sports day.
Adult sports day, I'm okay with that. Is that?
But I couldn't do it. I'm just going to put it out there. Like I've watched, put some up. I know a couple of people that do it actually, and I have a lot of respect for it because it is basically just taking out the more dangerous elements, which is all the gymnastics and the weightlifting. Like a snatch movement is probably, other than sprinting, one of the most violent things that you can do with the body.
Yeah.
Snatch, because your body goes
so
through so many things
as well. Also, a very good looking movement as well.
Yeah, it is cool when you see a good snatch.
I've just pulled up a Hyrox workout.
Took me a while to get that.
It's 1,000-meter ski erg, 2 25-meter sled pushes, the 2 25-meter sled pulls, 80-meter burpee broad jump, whatever that is, 1,000-meter row, 200-meter kettlebells farmer's carry, okay, then 100-meter sandbag lunges, and then 100 wall balls.
I mean, if you look at that, it's like engine work, kind of strength endurance. A burpee broad jump is basically a burpee, and then a broad jump is like just trying to jump as far as you can.
Yeah.
So it's like a race, isn't it? Like,
none of them are massively like technically demanding.
No. And you do it under fatigue, you're not likely to really...
A lot of
as long as you're warmed up, technically, none of that stuff should do you any harm.
And it's better for grassroots. Like, you could teach someone to do that in like a circuits class, and then you could almost progress. That's like the next level. And that's not to be disparaging and say it's easy.
It's like a gateway to CrossFit.
Kind of, because actually the things that take the longest to learn are the Olympic lifting and the gymnastic elements.
Yeah, I've got a couple of friends who do CrossFit.
Like learning to kick.
The shit they do, I'm like,
quite hard.
It's mad.
I ain't gonna lie, that workout I just read out sounds exhausting.
It sounds fun.
But I feel like I could do that.
Yeah, you probably have the prerequisites to do all those movements right now. Maybe not to that intensity in that speed to win the race, but you could probably do that right now. Whereas to teach you how to do a snatch would take us potentially...
I've tried it.
Yeah.
I did some Olympic lifting in Sheffield with Sheffield Hallam University with one of the GB coaches ages ago, and it was brilliant, don't get me wrong, but then I started trying to do it and trying to do lift heavier, and it was like...
you can see where they just have two movements in that sport.
I was like, nah, I mean, I need to tap out now. This isn't for me. So
I used to do Ollie lifting back in the day.
Gee,
I got the 17. Shoes and everything.
Yeah, I still have the first ever pair of shoes I bought when I was 17.
I still have my Addy Powers. They look brand new.
I've got the old ones with the wooden heel.
Ooh,
got blood on them. Remember the old one?
Yeah. Blood on your heels. Blood on Is that your second album?
That's the first comeback album.
That's a reunion tour.
Blood on my heels.
But I used to back in the day. They'll snatch, they'll clean and jerk.
Nice.
Yeah, I did, and it was like interesting to learn it, but I could like the whole hip bang thing. Bloody hell!
Like I was saying, like it's like a vertical jump, triple extension. It's so much going on. If you're not actually a good athlete, full stop, you might not better learn to do those things. So let's
do it after a 1,000-meter sprint against the clock and call it CrossFit.
Yeah.
I'll just go bench press, I think, actually. I'll do that one pretty well.
Can you imagine that at the Olympics, just the bench press?
Yeah, good.
I actually think that would be quite cool.
They do it at the Paralympics.
They do?
Paralympic bench press. Saw that live once.
That's cool.
I say once when it came over.
Why are you going for that?
Because I'm not a Paralympian.
I don't know. You're back. What's you got? The
too fair.
You're only a few steps away, aren't you?
I'm pretty.
The Amarati tear. What is it?
Too bad. If I did have surgery on my disc when I herniated years ago, I would actually be technically disabled.
Get a blue badge.
I don't think they probably.
Can you get one just so we can get better parking?
I probably can with all my brain stuff going. I better get a blue badge for that.
That's a different colour badge.
Blue
Peter badge.
They actually make you park further away from people.
A BPD badge. Should I get a BPD badge? I'm unstable. Help
Blue
me.
Peter badge.
Oh, I used to love Blue Peter back in the day.
Get you in free at museums and stuff.
Oh, go on then. I want to see. Apparently that all that BBC beef is all gone quiet now, hasn't it?
Oh my god!
Well, we were right about the presenter thing. Obviously,
he's at the Priory now. Guess where I'm going?
Yeah, but you know why that happens.
You going to the Priory?
I'm going to the Priory.
The PR company's just like, quick, we need to show like extreme action, and then it gets you out of the spotlight.
How long are you going to be in the Priory?
I've only got to go in one day a week.
Oh, cool.
So I got
which one?
Thursday.
Which
the Woking one.
I saw a meme the other day of this band do like polyrhythms, and it was like, how many polyrhythms do you want? Yes.
But no, I'm only in because I was meant to start this Thursday coming, but because I'm going to America next week, I've then gone for 3 weeks, so they delayed it to.
Is it a bit fancy?
Yeah, do you know how much it is to live in for a day?
Come on.
Per night, £1,150 a night.
I hope the food's good.
I don't know. I'm not living in. I'm just going for day treatment.
Can you steal a load of biscuits for us?
I don't know if they'll Surely
there'll be a buffet of sorts.
I don't know if they can trust me with sharp biscuits at this stage.
I was going to say
I've got no knives in my house anymore.
None of the food has corners.
I'm going to be honest. Do you know? That's how, have you not seen the videos where they show you like those institutions, the people who get institutionalized?
I have actually, and they're kind of
everything has all the corners shut off.
It's interesting, but kind of sad.
Yeah, it's really.
They actually show the whole experience. It's like, that's
God, that was nearly me twice. They put me in the home to live for a while, but I managed to manipulate my way out of it. Let's sneak some.
Well done.
Because I'm charismatic and articulate.
Yeah.
Yes. But I
love how we normalise this chat.
Self-aware.
I might as well laugh about it because it's just funny. But yeah, I've got no sharp objects in my house still. Do you know, can't be honest with you. Have you ever cut a baguette with a butter knife? Like, ask me that question.
Or another baguette.
Have you bad laughing about
have
that?
you ever cut?
Can you not make us laugh about it?
No, but have you ever, honestly, have you ever cut a baguette with a big baguette with a butter knife, especially one like a tiger bread baguette with some crusty
Are you allowed the infinity knife, the pizza wheel, the pizza cutter?
Probably not. I'll probably try and roll over myself.
Okay, now.
But I am honestly, I'll tell you one thing. Half the baguette ends up on my floor because I'm there sawing it away with a butter knife.
You're not more likely to do self-harm with like blunt objects that can't cut the thing they're supposed to cut?
No, it's kind of just a meme at this point. It's kind of funny. You see a baguette with just breadcrumbs everywhere.
Do you have the scissors we had at junior school?
I don't have any scissors in my house.
I mean, you're not going to...
I shouldn't either.
You're not going to be doing... Have you cut yourself?
No, I did that one as 11.
You knob.
You got Greg's socks on.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I rate that.
They say just... what does it say? Just baked?
You've been shopping at Primark.
I like that. That's good.
Yes.
I go to Primark like once a year to get... you get a jacket that I can then leave at the start line of a race.
Oh, that's quite good, actually.
They then donate it to charity.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
So, but whenever I go there to buy that jacket, it's like hell going in a Primark.
Yeah. Gosh, it's busy.
It's like something you could put Bear Grylls into.
Yeah.
And he drink his own piss.
And he would probably tap out. He'd probably, I can't take this anymore.
I remember I used to go to Primark when I was 16 to buy some tight tank tops to make me feel good in the gym. They last like 3 days and something to have a hole around the nipples.
You sneeze and it just falls apart. You're like, oh, how?
Good stuff.
Fast fashion.
Fast fashion indeed.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great, and I probably should go to a charity shop to buy my disposable item and then feed it back into the charity shop machine.
Can you imagine if they keeps coming through, like, every time there's a race? It's like, this jacket
Chris
keeps
is here.
coming back into our shop.
It, Chris, take your jacket back. I'm bored of it.
They just post it back to you.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that would be useful. But yeah, no, I'm training for the Amsterdam Marathon now in October, so that's my next major event. If you guys want to come, you're welcome to.
Are you going to smoke the drugs?
I could do.
Are you going to do
it before the race?
Do it during the race.
Do it on the start line.
Yeah.
A little zoot as you run past.
Yeah.
Do you think the people of Amsterdam are proud of the fact that the minute you mention Amsterdam to anyone, the first thing anyone thinks about is the
we've got so many bikes, guys, and you just go straight for the devil's lettuce. I haven't actually.
It's a really like good-looking place. Oh. Like it's a really like scenic place.
Of places.
The Chris of places. Thanks.
I could tell you some stories from Amsterdam.
You told me a story.
Yeah, they were quite funny.
Right, we'll save that for the next episode.
Yeah, why not?
Next episode, because we've got to give people a reason to come back. So I'm going to make a note of Amsterdam stories for the next one.
A reason to come back.
I feel like we've done enough today.
Yeah, I'm sweating.
And we can have a look through some Q&A I have for the next episode, because we've done 3 topics today. Normally we do 2. Yeah, and we did do some pretty good rambling as well. And Harry seems to have to leave, although we have kept him longer than he said he would be here.
Against my will, no consent.
Exactly, non-consensual.
Twice.
But anyway, I feel like it's been a pretty broad episode. We covered some bases.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Broad.
Broad burpees indeed. I mean, are we satisfied that Hyrox has been covered now?
Yes.
Yeah, basically we don't know a lot about it, but if it tickles your pickle, let it tickle that pickle.
If anyone does Hyrox and they want to write into us, then leave a comment. Leave a comment on our YouTube.
Chris's address is the following.
Yeah, quite. Or obviously, you can contact us via the usual channels. The Instagram is Pump Fiction Pod. Mike probably checks it once every 3 weeks.
He's got to get it in there. He segues in nicely.
Do we get any messages on that ever? Or
yeah, we do.
And you just don't tell us? That's great.
Not really worth. Sorry, guys. They're not really worth repeating.
Wow, we're getting offensive messages.
No, they're just... Although this person's now become just an Instagram user. So I don't know whether they blocked us or deleted their
What's going on, Mike? You need to sort out our Instagram.
It's fine. Just talk to me on there.
Okay, talk
to Mike.
There isn't a lot in there. Someone did mention about... What question did we do where we talked about... You couldn't remember someone's name. Or you couldn't pronounce it properly. Oh, it was the pull-ups.
Yes.
She said, thank you for the advice.
Oh, there you go. Nailed it.
Someone did actually ask us a question on the last YouTubes.
I can hear it.
That's weird. That's us talking.
That's meta pump.
Where was it? Oh, yeah. This is kind of topical, actually. Any advice on how to improve back squat form? I'm having problems with keeping my spine neutral when squatting to depth.
I like tempo variations, like 3-1-3, and also relevant, like shit like dead bugs really help me.
Yeah. Regress the pattern. So go to a front squat, because that's the next easiest one, and then maybe a goblet squat. Think about heels elevated, so you can learn to move your center of mass over your base of support a bit more. Depends how good you are at moving. Could be a hips thing. Ryder, helped him with his hips.
It's one of those things.
His squat still needs work. Sorry, Ryder, your squat still needs work.
His bench still needs work. You've seen it, Jesus. Sorry, Ryder. I'm being honest as well.
I mean, he was
deadlifting his work as well.
He was deadlifting on top of plates as platforms the other day,
and he fell off,
absolutely slamming it. I just feel like it's not good for the plates. They need to get something for people to do.
Just say sorry. Actually, if it hits the center ring, it will actually knock it out, and then it will
just say sorry to the plate and see if it forgives you. But basically, that's one of the questions that we kind of need to see your form so we know how to roast it.
And what your experience is. Oh my God, the cat is here again.
Hello, my friend.
Just for the finale.
Hello, friend.
Is she going to come in, or is she nervously loitering in the entrance?
I think she sees Mike's mane and feels intimidated by a lion in here.
Is that? I don't know if it... Oh, no, she's not interested. I mean, I can bring her in, but I feel like the show's ending. Maybe I'll get her for the outro music. But yes,
maybe she needs a close up for the thumbnail too.
Do you think the cat content is boosting our listens and views?
People I think I'm going to be more interested in the cat.
Do you know what I find really funny is I guess every message, I love your cat account on Instagram. Like, yeah, not mine. I don't have access to it. I don't know the password. I have no control over what gets posted on there. That's not my account.
Not affiliated.
Has she gone downstairs now?
Yeah,
she's gone. Sorry, guys.
Gotta start mentioning cats.
We're going to have to get some food in here, maybe, so she actually wants to come in for... Anyway, yeah, that's the show, isn't it, really?
The end.
Bye. If you do want to follow us individually...
Which you probably don't.
You probably don't. Radical.mike, Harry_TFNL.
Cats at TFNL.
I mean, do you know what mine is?
Christy Fellows.
Thank you very much. And this has been Pump Fiction episode 21. And I think we're just going to go now. So
episode 9 plus 10. 21.
See you later.
Bye.